Streaming your church services can seem like a daunting task at first. There are so many different choices of cameras, microphones, streaming services, and the list goes on. This video is your church live streaming guide for streaming your church services on a budget. I'll give you some of my personal recommendations for equipment. However, some things may not apply for you and your church depending on your budget, existing equipment, and requirements. So before I start jumping in talking about all of the different equipment, let's lay down the foundations. First of all, we're going to need a camera, and I would actually recommend using two cameras for different angles and in case you need to change the battery on one of them during the service. So the camera of choice is the Sony Alpha ZV A10 with the standard kit lens. You can get this for around £599. Also, you don't have to buy this equipment brand new, you can also get some good deals second hand as well. Next up, we need to connect the cameras to the computer. I would recommend, if you have two cameras, getting an encoder like this one from OC, or if you just have one camera or you're on a bit of a budget, you can get a couple of capture cards such as this one. Now, depending on the camera that you're using, most likely you'll need something like a micro HDMI to HDMI cable to connect the camera to the capture card or video encoder. When it comes to audio, there are two different ways you can go about doing this. So if you're right next to the soundboard or near it, then perhaps you can pick up an audio interface such as this one from Behringer, and you can just connect it directly via a 6.35mm aux cable. The second option is if your church doesn't have a soundboard or you're not near one, then you can pick up a set of wireless microphones and receiver such as this one from Newer. To connect your church's soundboard to the microphone, you will most likely need a 3.5mm to 6.35mm aux cable. Simply connect that to the soundboard and then the microphone, then it will automatically pair to the receiver and transmit over to the receiver. The receiver then plugs into the streaming computer via USB-C. And just like that, you should be ready to start streaming. With all that being said, let's jump into the setup. First of all, we're going to attach the dongle to the computer, then the capture card to the dongle, then we're going to plug in the camera into the capture card. Once that's done, we can then power on the receiver and connect it into the computer. Then we just need to power on the wireless microphone and then connect that to the audio interface if you choose to do so. Next, we're going to head over to OBS Studio and download it for your operating system of choice and then install it. Once installed, open OBS and you should be greeted with a screen like this. Select the plus icon under sources and then navigate to video capture device. Give your camera a name, for example camera 1, select OK, then select your camera, i.e. capture card in the drop down list. Then select OK. Simply resize your camera to fit on the canvas by dragging the edges of the red box. You can also drag it in the middle as well. Once you're happy, it's now time to add your audio interface or microphone. Simply go to the sources panel and then select audio input capture. Once again, give it a name and select OK. Then select the device in the drop down list and then select OK. With the audio source added, it's important to pay attention to the audio mixer panel. This is where you can adjust the volume, etc. Although I would highly recommend turning down the volume of the top one and muting it completely, since it will be your built-in microphone. Next, let's create another scene and give it the name presentation, assuming you are going to be running your presentation software off the same computer. Then add another source under the sources panel and select the screen capture source. Give it a name and then select the monitor and projector you would like to capture and select OK. This will be what's running ProPresenter, FreeShow or any other worship software you use. Resize it and now we can switch between the two scenes. One very important step that's next is to add the audio from the previous scene so we have the same consistency of audio throughout the live stream. If you'd like to stream your services on TikTok live, then you'll need a Windows computer since there is no way to stream from OBS to TikTok. However, don't worry, the setup process we've done in OBS hasn't been completely wasted since we can use OBS as a virtual webcam, then feed that into TikTok. Moving on to a Windows computer, we're just going to download the TikTok Studio installer, then install it. Once that's installed, simply open the program, then you'll be greeted with a screen like this. Log into your TikTok account and select allow on the firewall prompt. Next we're going to go through the standard setup process and allow TikTok to assign the optimal settings for our internet speed and processing power. Once done, head over to OBS and select Start Virtual Camera. Then select the OBS Virtual Camera and set it to full screen. Once that was all set up, I then realised that my porridge was in the way and moved it before Goldilocks and the three bears started knocking on my door. Then selected my microphone and everything was okay. I then selected Not Now, then changed it from Portrait to Dual Layout. Then removed all of the unnecessary items on the screen. I then added a camera source and then selected the OBS Virtual Camera. I then resized and positioned the cameras for both portrait and horizontal, then flipped them horizontally. I then reconfigured the microphone under the audio settings and selected my input and output sources. Then did a sound check. And just like that, we're ready to start live streaming on TikTok. If you'd like to stream to multiple streaming services at once, head over to Airtime TV and download the multi-stream plugin. Then follow the on-screen setup process. After installation, restart to open OBS, then head over to Docs and then select the Airtime multi-stream plugin. A small window like this should pop up and simply move it to the relevant position you would like on screen. Select the cog, then select the main canvas or vertical canvas. You may need to install a vertical plugin if you want to do vertical streaming, and then select the streaming service of your choice. Don't get too excited though, as TikTok will not work since you'll need a stream key, and it seems like they don't hand out stream keys anymore since they want you to use their application by the looks of things. Now it's time to start setting up the YouTube stream. Navigate to settings and then output. Select the output source to YouTube and then you can connect your Google account. You can also input a stream key instead if you'd like. Next, we need to adjust the quality of the live stream. This will depend heavily on how powerful your system is and your internet connection speed. So leave it on default, or you may need to do additional research. Next, head over to video and ensure that your resolution is set to 1080p. You may need to lower it to 720p if you have a lower spec system or slower internet speeds. This next step is optional, however you can go back to output and then scroll down, then you can adjust the recording settings here. This is for if you would like to record your services directly onto the computer. And just like that, you should be ready to start live streaming your church services. If you found this useful and helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. It would greatly help me out since it takes a long time to create these videos. Thanks for watching, hope to see you in the next video, and enjoy the rest of your day. God bless.